If you love gaming as much as my whole family love gaming, I hope you're going to enjoy my story, Aunt Clancy Games Detective. My name is Ruth Morgan and this is chapter 1, Kismet Cosmos. Tarn's arm muscles felt like they were going to snap. He stretched even further, ignoring the branch creaking beneath him. Below, more than 300 deadly metres below, the sparkling Arkenbach River thundered between huge jutting rocks. Ahead of him, just beyond his flexing fingers, the rubiate key glittered in the Zephyrbird's beak. Tarn pleaded with the bird, "Just this once, please!" Didn't he deserve a break? Not only had he solved the puzzle path in record time, he'd also sacrificed 2 of his favourite Nord-Eaters to find this shortcut. Seeing those little fellas explode in the Yacha traps had been heartbreaking, but if he could claim the rubiate key, it would cut out days, maybe weeks of travelling. "Pradal!" yelled Tarn. "Quick, come and help!" Tarn's dragon Pratal came racing out of the bushes with coalberry juice dripping down her chin. This was good. Coalberries were a magical item which could temporarily solidify her smoke if she'd eaten enough of them. Tarn climbed down and pressed the shining scale in the middle of Pradal's chest to bring up her inventory. The coalberry icon said 5, meaning Pradal had eaten 5 berries, so the smoke would stay solid for 5 seconds. That should be just enough time. He moved Pradal into position at the edge of the cliff. Tarn and Pradal had been adventuring together for so long they could almost read one another's minds. She breathed out an arc of smoke which solidified into a bridge leading straight to the hovering Zephybird. Tarn raced over it and grabbed hold of the key, but the pesky Zephybird didn't let go, and Tarn had to pull with all his might. Any minute now the smoke bridge would dissolve. He had to hurry. "Is that what I think it is?" The voice broke Ant's concentration and he let go of the key. His avatar, Tarn, stumbled sideways and tumbled off the bridge. Tarn plunged to his black and white death while the Zephybird fluttered off into the clouds. "No! What? No!" Ant tried to keep a hold of his headset, but it was wrenched off him. He blinked. He was back in reality, back in the overgrown dell on a bright but chilly Saturday afternoon in January. Children were squealing in the adventure playground on the other side of the fence. 3 figures stood over him. "Give it here!" Ant yelled. Brushing the hair out of his eyes, he recognised his attackers and stopped. Ant was trembling with anger, but he forced his arms to his sides. He took a few deep breaths to steady himself and looked their leader straight in the eye. Grif Lansdowne held Ant's headset just out of reach, like a smirking version of the Zephybird. He laughed, and the other 2, Lyle and Boom, joined in, as if they'd been waiting for his permission. They stared at the headset. "It is one, isn't it?" said Grif. "Is one what?" Ant had plenty of mates at school, but Grif wasn't one of them. He wasn't scared of Grif, though. Just because Grif's family was super rich, he acted like some kind of superior being. He had all the latest stuff, every new game or pair of trainers or footy strip, the minute it came out. That impressed idiots like Lyle and Boom, but not Ant. Over the years, he had learned to just answer back, and Grif would give up his mouthy overlord bullying pretty quickly. But right then, Ant was worried that if he tried to snatch back his headset, it might get broken, and he'd never get another. "Kismet Cosmos," Boom sounded baffled. Ant kept still, his expression neutral. I think my granddad told me about Kismet Cosmos, Grif sneered. Or was it my great-granddad? Honestly, where did you dig it up? Nobody plays this anymore. I don't know anyone who's played it like ever. It's dead, man. No one's played it for thousands of years, Lyle added pityingly, shaking his head. Ant forced himself to smile as they passed the headset around. Oh, you got the gloves too, cried Grif like some delighted antiques expert. Let's have a go if it's so good. See what I've been missing. He held out his hand. Ant removed the haptic gloves, passing them to Grif like he didn't care. He really wanted to grab his headset and run for home. Ant was a good runner, but if one of them did catch him and jump him, his kit could end up getting wrecked. Much as he hated it, this was the best way. Grif pulled on the gloves and crushed the heavy headset over his blonde hair, which stood up in little gel peaks like a crown. He stood waiting for something to happen, tapping his foot impatiently. His eyes were hidden behind the headset's visor, but Ant could imagine their outraged expression. Who on earth would dare make Grif Lansdowne wait? Lyle and Boom sniggered, but when Grif turned towards them, they fell silent. Start, ordered Grif. Start playing, come on. What's wrong with it? Hardly going to be voice controlled, is it? Suggested Lyle. Technology that old. Activate it then! Grif turned towards Ant, even though he couldn't see him, and flung up his arms in exasperation. He really did have the patience of a 3-year-old. Come on, Ant! Do I have to stand here all day? Millions of years ago, apes worked out how to use switches and humans were born, Ant muttered, reaching behind the headset. Grif flinched. While he pressed the on-off switch, Ant also turned a dial, sending the game into energy-saving flat map grayscale mode. Within seconds, Grif was killing himself laughing. What can you see? What's it like? Lyle and Boom grabbed hold of Grif's shoulders and shook him, but he was laughing too much to speak. Eventually, he managed to say, It's pants! It really is pants! Despite this, Grif persevered. Ant could see how quickly he learned to move forwards and backwards by twitching his fingers. Then he began flicking his arms around stupidly while guffawing his head off. Ant could imagine what he was doing. The flat map mode had bounced Grif back to the very first planet in the game, Mantros, where he could do little more than run through the 2D woods, fire arrows and chase baby homo rabbits back to their burrows. On Mantros, he couldn't access Pradal the dragon, which is what Ant had wanted. In flat map mode, Grif couldn't harm the game or set back Ant's progress. That was more important than their teasing. They'd tease him whatever. Lyle and Boom insisted on having a try, and Ant had to put up with 10 minutes of the 3 of them passing the game around and making fun. He sucked it all up. He had to. Finished then? Ant held out his hand as Grif finally removed the headset for the last time. By the way, you messed up your lovely hair. Grif frowned and shoved his hair back into place. He handed back the headset and gloves with his nose wrinkled and his little finger sticking out as though he couldn't bear to touch them any longer. This belongs in a museum, Ant. A museum of boredom? What's the point? I like it, Ant shrugged. But why? Grif looked genuinely puzzled. Then he lit up. Soon as I turn 12, I'm getting Ray-Chay. It comes out round about then. I literally cannot wait, guys. Lyle and Boom stared at Grif, awestruck. Wow, escaped Boom's lips. Ray-Chay was the new game that everyone was talking about. Race, Chase, Collect or Destroy was its full name, but everyone was already just calling it Ray-Chay, including its creator, Kody Crunch. It was the first game to give its players a full-body experience in a virtual world. Ant had seen the advert, Kody Crunch leaping out of his neon green convertible sports car, flashing his $1 million grin, pointing a pair of finger pistols at the camera and yelling, "Ray-Chay's gonna change gaming forever! I mean forever! Are you ready for the big one?" Crunch Hut made the best virtual reality games on the market, so everyone believed him. Though long forgotten, Kismet Cosmos had been Crunch Hut's first ever game, so Ant was sure that the new game would be absolutely brilliant. The main problem was the cost. The entire Ray-Chay setup, including individually moulded featherweight headset and bodysuit, came to several £1,000s. "Get Ray-Chay like me," Grif grinned. Ant couldn't work out if he was being deliberately cruel or simply didn't realise that there was no way on earth he'd be playing Ray-Chay. It wasn't the age restriction. Ant had already turned 12 2 months back. Just simply, Ant's family could never afford it. "Maybe you'll let me have a go on yours," Ant smiled back. "Only fair, isn't it? You've had a go on my game." Grif's smile wavered at the idea that he'd let Ant try on his thousands of pounds suit for a split millisecond. "The suit only responds to its owner," Lyle chipped in. "You wouldn't be able to use his suit, duh. You'll have to get your own one, Clancy." "Didn't you know that? Keep up!" Boom made an ugly face, flicking his fingers dismissively. Grif threw his arms around his mate's shoulders, pulling them towards him. "Sorry, Ant." He didn't sound it. "See you around and enjoy your gaming." The three of them bounced away up the path, joining the Dell to the parade, laughing as though Grif were the funniest comedian on earth. Ant watched them leave, overwhelmed with relief, cradling his precious headset in his arms. He was glad Grif hadn't seen the real Kismet Cosmos. It was too beautiful for him. So what if no one else had played it in years? Ant was one of the last, perhaps even the last, to travel from planet to planet in Kismet in a quest to nurture the greatest dragon in the cosmos. That made it all the more special. Well, Grif wasn't very nice to Ant in Chapter 1, was he? But you're going to be surprised by how their relationship changes through the rest of the story, because given the right situation, people can change sometimes. It's an adventure story. It's all about this brand new virtual reality game called Ray-Chay, which causes a lot of problems and is the reason why Ant and his new friends set up the game's detective agency. And I hope you enjoy it.